or wave hands like clouds. And it turns out to be actually one move. It's one reason why it's so popular. It's kind of the quintessential move in Tai Chi. You see people holding that pose a lot in photographs because it has so many applications. And we'll talk a little bit about the applications. All right, well, let's start with some warm-up exercises. Let's get warmed up. And we're just gonna, so I should be filling your screen right now. So you can adjust your, Sarah Dawn, what do they have to do to adjust their screen so that I'm picking up the entire screen so they can actually see everything I'm doing?
Yeah, I think I have you on a spotlight video, so meaning most of us can see you on the main screen.
All right.
Yep. And I how's the volume? I can hear you pretty well. I just, if everyone make sure you turn up your volume all the way so we can hear Ralph. So far, so good though.
Good. All right. Let's just loosen up a little bit. And I like to do this. We neglect our fingers a lot, our hands. So this is a really good exercise to strengthen your hands.
And what are you doing, Ralph?
Sorry, what I'm doing is just holding my hands out and splaying my fingers in and out, in and out, in and out.
Like so that?
Reaching out and grabbing something and
like that?
Squeezing something and letting it go and squeezing and letting it go.
Are you able to see my screen now, Ralph? Did I get my camera? I have dark glasses on.
Let me look.
Oh, I can see you, Elizabeth.
Oh, okay, thanks, Sarah.
She's wearing sunglasses.
Well, I can't get everybody on my screen, so there must.
I see.
All right, hold on. Let me go to.
Maybe do a find her in the gallery or something.
Now I can go down, and we'll keep going, everyone.
Explain.
Oh, I think I just saw you. Here you are.
Is that what you mean to do? Splay your fingers?
Yes. No, I want you to grab it. Grab something like your, yes.
Oh.
In and
like
out.
that? Oh, like this?
And then you can do it as slow or rapidly as you want. Now, I do these, I make my coffee. I have this really fancy espresso machine. And I may have mentioned this, but I'll mention it again. So what I find works for me is to get into some kind of a routine if you're really into this kind of stuff. And that way, if you don't do it, you don't feel right. You know, you just kind of don't feel right rather than, oh, well, I'll do it later. Because it is exercise and sometimes we're tired and we don't feel motivated. So when I'm making coffee, I'll do most of my warm-up exercises. By the time coffee pot is ready, I'll have my coffee and then I go back down and I do other stuff. So I try to do the stuff I don't really like to do, which is mostly warm-up exercises. They're not much fun, but they're good for you. I do that while I'm waiting for my coffee. And then I reward myself with a cup of coffee. Don't tell anyone how neurotic that is. All right. So when your hands start to get tired, you can stop. All right. You kind of want to push yourself with that if you can. All right. So let's begin with some Qigong. We're holding a ball. Imagine you're holding a ball. And you can imagine that the ball's got energy inside. So we can practice squeezing the ball and breathing in and out and practice controlling that energy. Right? Compress the ball and then let it expand and breathe in and out. Breathe naturally. This is a very powerful internal exercise. It really gets the chi going so that we can do something with it. We have all this energy and we want to do something with it, and we want to be able to control it mindfully. That's the whole idea. So now we begin by, we're going to take one hand, either one, and swat down and block down, and the other hand rotate out to the side and turn your neck and look at your palm. Now I'm looking at my palm like I'm holding a mirror to the side. And come back to center holding that energy ball. And now take the other hand down, rotate it down to the side and block down, like you're blocking something from the side. And turn and look at the other hand. Turn your neck. This is a neck exercise. And come back to center again. All right. Good. Come back to center holding the ball. All right. Holding the ball. Now the ball's about the size of a beach ball. A little bit smaller, Elizabeth. Good. And now rotate the other side, the other hand out to the side and look, and the other hand blocks down to your thigh, blocks down and out, and rotate it back. And now go at your own pace. 1 and 2. The other way. And we want to breathe in as we expand and stretch. As we breathe in, as we stretch. As we come back to holding the ball, we breathe out. Right to the left, to the right. You crunch your eyeballs back. Look back with your eyeballs to the back of your head as you go to the side. Good for your muscles in your eyes. Okay. And now we're going to rotate, as we start from the ball, we're going to rotate one hand up and right over our heads and stretch like we're holding a tray, and the other hand, just like before, comes down and blocks. And come back holding the ball. And now the other one hand all the way up, rotating up, holding a tray, squeeze up and push down. One hand palm is like holding up the sky, and the other hand is pushing down on the earth. Just rotating, changing hands, stretching and breathing in. Coming back, relax, holding a bowl. Keep going. Going. And when you push up, you want that top hand to be pointing, so it's pointing toward your head, not pointing out. Right? And so the fingers of each hand are facing each other. Even though one hand is up and one hand is down, the fingers are actually facing each other. And that's a very common motif in Tai Chi. This is very similar to a movement in Tai Chi called white crane spreads wings. Where one hand is coming up and blocking, and the other hand is going down and blocking. And the hands are mirror images of each other. The fingers are pointing toward each other, right? Okay, come back to holding the ball. Now push to the left. Turn both palms out to the left. Push to the center. Come back to the ball. Turn to the right. Turn both palms out to the right. Turn to the left, to the right. And the left hand should be forward. Turn both palms, come back holding a ball. Turn both hands to the left. The right hand is forward, the left hand is back with the elbow jutted just straight back. And turn and twist and turn at the waist to the right, to the left. Good. To the right, to the left. Turn, push. Like you're pushing away something. And come back holding a ball to center. And let's compress the ball and let it expand. Breathing in and compress it. And let it expand. And now what we're going to do is we're going to rotate this ball over. And we're going to rotate it to the left so that the left hand is on top of the ball when we go to the side, and the right hand is underneath the ball. We're still holding the ball, we've just rotated it around. And now bring it back to center, rotate it around again. So the hands are on the sides of the ball. And rotate the ball to the right with the left hand under and the right hand up. And back to center. And rotate. Breathe in. Come back. To the right, breathe in. Come back. And just keep it going, turning at the waist. Breathing in and out. Slowly. Relax. Just concentrate your mind, focus your mind, and pay attention to the movements. And if you have a thought, it's okay. But just keep it positive, one positive thought.
Ralph, how is the breathing matched with this?
How is what?
All right, how is the breathing matched with this?
Okay, the breathing is, you just time the breathing with the movement. So if when I'm stretching, I breathe in, and when I'm relaxed, I'm breathing out. So all these exercises have two phases. A stretching phase, or winding up, in this case, winding to one side or the other. And a relaxing phase where we're coming back to center holding a ball. And so you want to breathe in when you twist and wind up or stretch to one side, and breathe out as you let it go to center it, in this case for these exercises. Right. Okay, good. All right, so now we're gonna put our fists at our sides, palms facing up, elbows facing back. And this is a Shoulin ready position. Make two fists with the fingers pointing up. And if you move away from your computer a little bit so you have a little room to kick, I am going to punch out straight with one hand and kick with the other leg. All right, so here we go. I'm going to punch and kick contralaterally and bring everything back now. Now back to center, in this case isn't holding a ball. It's back to where the fists are at your side, the elbow straight back, sit up straight. If you have to sit at the tip of your chair. And now punch with the other hand. And the punch is going to be a rotation, like a twisting motion, like a screwed motion. Directly from your waist, directly out straight. Very linear as we kick out with the other leg, very, very linearly. All right, so 1, 2, 3. And you just kick as far as you can. If you can't kick up as high as I'm kicking, kick as high as you can. But kick slowly. So it's a punch and kick. with the alternate hand and leg. And now punch is going to be a stretch, so we're going to breathe in, right? We come back, both the foot and the hands are at the waist. We breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out as we kick and punch. Good. All right. Next exercise. I'm going to put my hands at my side, and now I'm going to bring both hands up, straight out, and down. And now I'm going to bring both hands back, like pushing back my arm straight, and up. So we're going to go back and up to the sides, and back, breathe in, and up, breathe in, and relax to the sides, and breathe in, going back, relax, breathe out, breathe in, going up, come back, push back, both hands all the way, breathe in, relax, bring the hands up, relax, and keep going. And relax. And now let's go to our toes. Put your toe down, lift your heel, and rotate your heel back and forth. So you're using your toe as a fulcrum, rotating back and forth. We're exercising our ankle, the muscles in the ankle now. Back and forth, rotate. And now put your foot down and rotate side to side. So you're just rotating your foot side to side. And the other foot, heel up, toe down, swing back and forth. And the foot down and sideways. Okay, good. Now, if you don't have the use of your feet, work your hands instead. So where I'm rotating, I'm making two fists and I'm rotating my hands. So the right hand is going clockwise and the left hand is going counterclockwise, with the thumbs up. And now I'm going to go the other way. So now my right hand is going counterclockwise. My left hand is going clockwise. So here I'm taking the opportunity to exercise the muscles and the tendons in my wrist. Qigong is better for stretching the tendons and for the lungs than it is for building muscle strength. If you want to build muscle strength, which is good to do, So in Tai Chi, it's 70% lower body when you're doing it standing, and it's 30% upper body. But if you're doing it sitting, it's 100% upper body, isn't it? And so we're going to do an exercise to strengthen our upper body, because those are the muscles and limbs and so on and so forth and joints that we're going to be using for sitting. And the series of exercises we're going to do is called Yi Gun Jin. And it means muscle tendon exchange. It's a very powerful exercise for strengthening the muscles and also the tendons. And remember, the tendons are important because the tendons connect the muscles to the bone. And so there's a series, it's very old. It was introduced by Bodhidharma in the 5th century to the Chinese when he went to China to introduce Buddhism. And when he was in the monasteries, he realized that teaching them, he saw that the monks were flabby and weak because they were studying the scriptures all day long. Kind of like the Orthodox Jews study the Torah, and they just weren't exercising. So he developed this series of exercises for them, and it's lasted throughout the centuries. And it's a very popular form of exercise that's kind of akin to lifting weights like they do in the West, but it's a lot easier on your muscles. I may have mentioned this last week. If I have, I apologize. But we're going to do, we'll do 4 of them. I'm trying to squeeze so much in, but I just think all of this is important. So I don't run out of time. I'm just checking. It's 11:27. All right, good. So we're going to do Yi Gun Jin. We're going to do 4 exercises. But I think it's important for people that are sitting a lot to do this. And since this is a sitting class, I want these series of exercises to be the highlight, one of the highlights of the class. And I really would like your feedback on this. I'd like to know whether you like doing them, whether you want to continue doing them, or whether you want to do more classical, other types, not classic, but other types of Qigong. There are other things we can do. All right. So we're going to do the first 4 today. No, actually, I think we're going to do. I think we're going to do there's from 5 to 8 today. All right. And so these are the easier ones to do. So the first one, here's the rules. I think we did those. We may have done this. Did we do this last week? Okay, doesn't matter. So here are the rules. The rules are when you tense your muscles, we're going to be doing like isometric, tensing our muscles in our fists. And when we tense, we want to breathe in, and we want to breathe in using Buddha breath, which is extending the stomach and expanding, all right, expanding the muscles in our stomach as we breathe in, as if we're taking breath into the stomach, and want to hold that. And when we breathe out, we want to completely breathe out, and we want to contract all the muscles in our stomach. So as if, we're pushing all the air out, okay? So we're also exercising the muscles in our stomachs, in our abs, okay? And we're going to breathe in as we do the isometric part of the exercise, and we're going to relax and breathe out when we relax our muscles. And so the first one is we're going to be pretending that we're hanging from a bar with our hands straight up, all right? And we're hanging from the bar, and our fingers are facing forward, all right? And as we take a deep breath in, we are going to imagine that we're pulling ourselves up. Just imagine that. At the same time, we are going to lift our heels up as high as we can. And so ready? Here we go. Grab, hang, lift the heels, breathe in. Relax, let the heels come down. Grab the bar, lift up, Lift the heels, breathe in. Now really tense all the muscles in your forearms and your fists and your biceps, and your chest. Tight, 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 tight. Hold it. Let go, breathe out. One more, breathe in. Pull, pull, pull. Tighten, tighten, tighten. Lift the heels as high as you can. Let it go, breathe out. Okay, so that's the first one. The next one we're going to make two fists. We're going to bring the fists up to our ears, like we're flexing our muscles. You know how little kids flex their muscles to show their parents how strong they are? So the fists are like you're punching your ears. And your arms are out laterally, about horizontal to the shoulders. And we're going to tighten and imagine that we're pulling out as hard as you can, like you're trying to pull out away from your head, but you can't. Flex. Breathe in and relax. Breathe in all the way. Expand your stomach. Tighten. Relax. Your fist should be about an inch or two from your ears. Breathe in, tighten. Hold it, hold it. Relax. Breathe in, tighten. And relax. Okay, now just bring your hands down a little bit and relax. The third one is arms straight out to the side. Your fists are down, pointed up. So the knuckles are up and the fingers are down. All right? Like an airplane. And we are going to push out as hard as we can as we do the exercise. Ready? Push out, breathe in. And I want you to lift your toes. Relax, breathe out. Push out, breathe in, lift the toes. Push. Relax, breathe out. Tighten, lift the toes, breathe in. Push. Relax, breathe out. Last one. And relax, breathe out. Okay, good, that's 3. Fabulous. Okay, the last one. Hands straight out. All right, so bring your hands at your side, make a fist, put your thumbs in your fist, and now bring your hands out, straight out in front of you, parallel to your shoulders. Thumbs in. We are going to imagine that the walls on the side are closing in on us, like in the horror movies. And we're pushing out to keep the walls from crushing us. And we're clenching our fists and our forearms and really tightening everything up. All right, ready? Now we're going to lift our heels this time at the same time. Ready? Tighten. Breathe in, hold it, lift the heels. Push out, push out, push out. But your hands aren't moving. You're imagining that you're pushing out against a force, and relax. Tighten, breathe in, lift the heels, push, pushing to the side, relax. Drop your heels. Ready? Breathe in. Breathe out, relax. Last one. Make a fist, grab your thumbs, breathe in. Push out to the sides, lift your heels, tighten. Okay, breathe out. And now put your hands on your knees. Sit on the edge of your chair if you can. Tuck your chin in, close your eyes, and just sit up straight. Raise your crown. Now relax everything. Feel a tingling sensation? And now drop your hands to the side with your palms facing forward. Totally relaxed. And gently breathe. And as you breathe in, raise your hands out straight, relax though. And gently breathe out and let your hands drop to your sides. And up again, breathing in, relax. Breathe
I'm
out.
sorry, Ralph. How far should we be raising our hand?
You want to have your hands dangling at your sides with your palms facing out forward, and you bring your hands up the same time, horizontal to the ground, around shoulder length height. And now relax and drop them. And one more, up. And down. Make sure your posture is upright. Okay, good. So do you like that you like that Yigun Jin? Okay, I don't know. No answer. I'm not sure. I like it. All right.
I liked it, but some of it was a little too hard on my arms, so I couldn't do the full pose. So I
Which
had, well, especially arms out in front, stretched out in front.
Okay. Well, so here's the thing. If you're having trouble with it, that may be a good sign, because that means that you have some weakness in your arms, or some sort of difficulty with it, that you have an opportunity to improve.
Oh, I have muscular dystrophy, so
Okay, well, yeah, but even so, right? This is a mind-body thing. So, yeah, I understand. I mean, I'm not going to say to you, I'm not saying, oh, it's your bad or something. I mean, it's like you should be able to do this. All I'm saying is that what you want to do is you want to go to your comfort level with it. So if you're, and we could spend some time later on if you want to give me a call. We could even conference and go into the more detail in your case. But you could perhaps bring your hands not quite as far up, but but the same principles apply of the breathing and the isometric aspects of it.
Mhm.
Okay, so
yeah,
if you
no, I could do that.
huh?
I
Yeah,
was able to do that. I'm just saying
yeah,
that
yeah.
I
If you can't go up,
can't do it to the full extent.
yeah, there are things that I do other martial arts and things. that I really have certain limits because of my age, and you know, I just don't have the energy to do certain things that a lot of my younger colleagues can do. So I kind of do them to a point, as long as I'm adhering and following the same principles. And the principle here is, you know, is just the isometric part of it. It doesn't really matter if you can't get your arms up to a certain height. That's just the convention, all right? The important principle here is the isometric aspect of it, is the tensing of your muscles and the breathing and expanding of your ab, and then totally relaxing. So that's the important thing. It's not exactly where you're holding your hands. All right, is that clear?
Yeah, no, that's great. Thanks.
Yeah, so that, you know, you're gonna do it 100% right the way you're doing it. So, okay. So let's get back into Tai Chi now. All right. So last week, this is the third session, I think. So we did the opening commencement part. We did open and close, step number 2. Step number 3, we did single whip, right? So we're going to practice those, and then we're going to learn the 4th movement, which is called cloud hands. Now, cloud hands is it can be a little bit, you kind of have to wrap your mind around it, if you will. But I've got some techniques that work to show you how to do it. Once you get it, it'll be easy. But you're rotating your hands in different directions. And so that's a little bit uncomfortable when you first learn how to do it. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to introduce cloud hands first, because that's the most important thing, is to keep going with this. And then go back, and then we'll do review steps 1, 2, and 3, and then add cloud hands to it. So here's what cloud hands looks like. So remember, last week we ended with single whip. And single whip is pushing out and expanding just past the shoulders with the hands, palms facing out. And your hands, your arms and shoulders, it'll look like kind of like a swallow's wing, kind of like a W shape. So if your torso is a point, your arms take the form of a W shape. Is that clear? Okay. So, or like a swallow wing. So basically it's, again, pushing your hands are in and you're pushing out from the chest about 18 inches, and then expanding out, extending out to the sides, just past your shoulders with your palms facing out. Okay, now, sorry about that. All right, now, from here, what we want to do is take the right hand and bring it down in an arc to the left side. So now the right hand, or right palm, is still facing out, but it's lined up under the left elbow. And so, starting from that swallow pose, the right palm swings down past the stomach, past the waist, in an arc, so that it lines up under the left shoulder, or left elbow. All right. Now, the upper hand, which is the left hand, should be eye level. The lower hand under the elbow is at waist level. And now once you establish this position, you're going to keep that distance in all the next steps between the two hands the same. All right? What we're going to do next is we are going to switch the hands up and down vertically without changing the position of the hands horizontally. So we just changed like a slider bar, like a light switch up and down. So now my left hand is down near my waist and my right palm is up near my eyes, up above the left hand. But they're vertically lined up. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the waist. And as I turn the waist, my hands are going to turn with my waist like they're attached to a pole. And they turn to the other side and line up at the right side. So now my left hand is still down near my waist and my right hand is up near my eyes and my left hand is under my right elbow at the right shoulder line. And what I've done is I've used my waist to make this movement. The hands hardly move at all. So let's try it again from this position. Switch the hands at the right shoulder line. So the left hand is up near the eyes and the right hand is down near the waist. And we turn both hands. As we turn the waist, the hands turn with the waist, like to the left shoulder hand line. Make that switch again. Left hand down, right hand up. Turn to the right side. Switch. Left hand up, right hand down. Turn around the waist to the left. Switch. And turn. Switch. The right side. And turn. Okay. So, relax. Now, I'm going to turn around and see if this works. And I'm going to do it so that you can see me. So you're doing it at, it may be easier for you to follow if I turn around and the hands are moving in the same directions. All right. All right, can you see my hands? Everyone? Okay. Single whip. Take the right hand, swing it down in an arc so that's lined up under the left elbow. Switch. Right hand up, left hand down. You're still at the left elbow. All right. My right hand is near my nose. My left hand is down near the waist. Now I'm going to turn both hands together at the waist until they're now at the right shoulder line. Right hand up, left hand down. Now I'm going to switch the hands up and down like a switch, vertically. And my right hand is down, my left hand is up. I haven't moved them yet. And I'm turned. So I'm turned toward that right side. Now I'm going to move both hands together and rotate around the waist to the left. Now I'm at the left shoulder line, switch the hands. And turn with the waist to the right. And switch. And turn at the waist to the left. Switch up and down. And turn to the right. And switch. And turn at the left. And switch. And now let's keep doing this, turning slowly at your own pace, nice and slow. And we make the rotations a little smoother now, okay? So instead of making boxes, like we did learning it. Now we know how to do it. We can make it a little smoother, round out the corners a little bit. So we have the feeling of it being smooth, like flowing water. And you may notice that the left hand is making kind of counterclockwise movements, while the right hand is making kind of clockwise rotations. And breathe naturally. Now in Tai Chi, you just breathe naturally. See how slowly you can do it. To the left, switch, nice and smooth, or to the right, switch, turning, to the left, around the waist, and switch, and so forth. All right, now, that's called cloud hands. What's going on here in cloud hands is that the upper hand, as it moves across, is blocking something, is blocking a strike coming in. And it's pushing it over to the side or pushing it past you. The left hand on the other hand is either striking, pushing aside, or striking, or with either the fist, punching, or pushing aside at the same time, or lifting a leg. So there's a lot of applications going on here. So anytime that you're using cloud hands, you're using either two defensive movements to push aside a kick and block a punch, or you're using one hand to block and the other hand to strike or push. And of course, you can do it to either side depending on the situation. And the waist is very important because it's the waist that allows you to generate the energy into those moves if you're using it in the martial sense. Because if you try to do this with just your hands, you don't have enough strength in your hands to effectively defend yourself or to apply these things. But when you turn at the waist, you can drive the force and add to the force using your body to accomplish those things that I'm just mentioning. And so we're doing this movement with the palms facing out, of course. But the movement can be done with the lower hand actually scooping, as if you were scooping up a kick and pulling it up and out. All right. And the top hand can, instead of being facing out, palm facing out, can actually face in as it turns around and grabs something. All right, so there's a lot of different variations of this. In this style, the palms are facing out. The palms are facing out. Makes it very easy to remember to do.
And Ralph, may I ask a clarification, please?
Yeah.
Is the transfer of the hands at the waist level?
Yeah.
Okay.
What about?
We're transferring the hands at the waist level.
Yes. So,
okay.
So when let's say you're rotating from one side to the other, either way, and you stop at the right, let's say you stop at the shoulder line. All right. That's your signal to stop. Then when you switch the hands, the hand which is on the bottom, the lower hand, is at the waist. And you just bring it straight up. and bring the other hand down that was up at eye level down to the waist.
So you're crossing sort of equidistant between the shoulder and the waist then? They're just coming at the same rate, meeting and crossing.
Yes, and so you want to time it so that the hands end up one down at the waist and one down at the, actually in this case, since we're sitting, it's almost at the lap, right? And so what happens is that you want to time everything so that the hands reach their intended, their final positions at the same time. And that is a very important Tai Chi principle. All of these moves we're using both hands. And the hands may be going in different directions in different places in space, right? At different planes even. But when they finally end up at the end of the move, they should end up together. They should always end up together. And one of the things I'm doing now is I'm learning the broadsword. It's called a broadsword weapon. And I know how to do it. It's 36 movements. But right now, the hardest part for me right now, the part that I'm struggling with, is making the sword, where the sword is supposed to end up and where your other hand is supposed to end up at the same time. So the timing is right on. And that's the hardest thing to do. And it's just like a lot of things in life. Some of the things that are the most, the simplest things, the most subtle things, are the most difficult things to do, or actually, easy to do, hard to perfect. Okay, so does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you very much.
Okay. So that's something, I'm glad you mentioned it, because that's something that we really want to, as you get better at this. Right now, it's not that important, right? It's just learning things. If you don't get it, if the timing is a little off, I never mentioned it because it's not really important. But after you learn the set and you get really comfortable with it, then you start to tease apart the other aspects of it. The more subtle aspects of it you introduce into your practice. And the more of these subtle aspects you introduce into your practice, the more powerful and internal it becomes. So this becomes now you're learning how to internalize things more. And the better the feeling is, the more powerful the chi is running through your body, all right? And you'll start to feel that after you learn the set and you start to smooth things out, so to speak, So for example, in this cloud hands, we're doing things kind of jerky, right? To the left switch, to the right switch. But already I told you that when you get to the left, you kind of want to round it out. So at the end, the corners are rounded. They're not like a square. So, instead of scribing a square, a rectangle, you're generating kind of almost a circle, kind of like a circular rectangle, if you will, all right? And so that's kind of a little bit higher level. And when you start learning how to do it. And then there's breathing, timing the breathing to the movements. Right now, don't worry about it. All right. Okay, so any other questions before we end? All right, if you have any questions.
I do have a little question about, I know you just said it is about the breathing though, because I seem to really want to be timing it now. Because you were mentioning before, breathing was with the exertion, was with the stretch. When we're doing bilateral the same way, how do you time the breathing down?
When you're doing what now, bilateral?
They're both the same movements on both sides. I wouldn't call either one.
Yeah, well, that's a good question, and that pertains or speaks directly to the difference between Qigong and Tai Chi, because in Qigong, there's always a stretching and a relaxation. I mean, that's the whole practice, is stretching something and relaxing it, because we're stretching the tendons And of course, you know, that's very stretching. It's very yang, forceful. And we relax, it's very yin. And you know, you've got to go through the cycle of yin and yang. You can't have your muscles, tendons stretched all the time and do anything with them, because they have to relax to be able to do things with the muscles, the tendons, the bones, the joints, and everything else. Now, Tai Chi, it's very subtle, the difference between stretching and relaxing. I mean, you know, which part of this movement is stretching and relaxing? I mean, you tell me really what it is. I guess maybe when you get to the end, your waist, you've gone to the end, you're kind of, your waist is stretched a little bit. As you kind of go down, as you start to turn and go facing toward the middle, your waist is relaxing a little bit. But you know, and then, you know, you're applying these forces. If you think of it, you know, if you're using it in a martial sense, which is of course an important aspect of Tai Chi because that's its roots, then, you know, you're at a point here where you're actually making contact with an opponent. And so what do you call that? A stretching or relaxing? You can't define it in the same terms. And so because you can't define Tai Chi in the same terms, you know, as stretching and relaxing, you don't worry about it, you know, with respect to the breathing. You just say you breathe naturally. And so I'm breathing naturally, and I don't really care as long as I'm breathing, as long as it feels comfortable. And that's all I want to think about, is as long as it's comfortable for me. But if I were using this in a martial sense, if I were going to deliver a blow right now, if I were going to turn and ward off and deliver a blow, I'd want to be breathing in at this part when I'm turned to the left or turned to one side. And as I grab and punch or push, I want to breathe out. But that would happen naturally. My body would sense that I'm getting ready to deliver a blow, and my mind would tell me, take a deep breath in, Ralph, because you're going to need that energy to let it go when I deliver a blow. And so if you're using this for fighting or defending yourself, your mind will tell you when to breathe in and when to breathe out. And so literally what it boils down to is with Tai Chi, you don't have to worry about thinking about it, all right? But a lot of people, when they're doing this, won't breathe. You know, when I say won't breathe is they'll breathe in and hold it, right? So they breathe in and they'll go through a few cycles and then decide to breathe out. And that's what you don't want to do. You want to breathe in and out, and the timing isn't as important as make sure that the cycle is there, so that when you're during these rotations, your breath is continual, just like the Tai Chi. All right. So as I go to one side, I might breathe in and out. Go to the other side, I might take another breath in, and as I come to the left, I might breathe out and breathe in. So you kind of want to make the breath follow the tempo of the movements. But it's your choice of when you decide to breathe in, when you decide to breathe out. And so, you know, this is actually a very complicated subject. And it's a really good one. I'm glad we're having it.
Yeah, I love it.
Okay, does this sort of make sense?
Oh, yeah, I just love this discussion.
Yeah, it's like, it's not so much like, okay, guys, when you're here, I want your breath to be, I want you to breathe, to get ready to breathe out. You know, I'm not going to say that. But all I'm going to say is, whatever feels good to you, make sure you're breathing throughout all the movements. And make sure that your breathing is as smooth and as even as your movements. So
that the whole thing remains fluid. Is that right? Yeah.
That's a good way to put it. That's a nice way to put it. It should be natural, right?
Yeah.
If you're in Tai Chi, the breath follows the movements. You shouldn't have to worry about it as long as you're breathing. Your body will tell you when it's ready to take a breath in and when it isn't. As soon as your mind starts worrying about something, you know, and thinking too much, you'll stop breathing. You know, as long as you maintain your mind, you put your mind to the movements, follow the movements, your mind your lungs will do the right thing at the right time.
I feel like doing it this way actually brings me deeper into the movement,
Yeah.
not having to coordinate the breath in any way
Yeah.
intentionally, just allowing the movement to move with the breath to move with the movement.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a kind of, it'll happen naturally. If you're holding your breath and you have to, then you mentally, you know, and believe me, I find myself holding my breath and sometimes. And so what I've done and what I would recommend you do, and this is really a very powerful way to use this, use the system to get better with, you know, the mental aspects, the breathing, the movements, and, you know, the chi, and the thinking about all of these things, a lot of stuff to think about. Posture alone, there's so many different aspects to posture. What I do a lot of times in my practice is I'll say to myself, okay, I'm going to go through the set and I'm only going to pay attention to one thing, and it's going to be my breathing. All right. And I'm not going to pay attention to anything else. Of course, I know the form, so I don't have to think about it, right? So at this stage in your practice, you're going to be focusing your mind on the form because you're learning the form. And that makes sense. Later on, after you learn the form, you might say, okay, I'm going to practice on just keeping my head up straight. I'm going to practice keeping my crown erect, right? Or I'm going to practice not looking down. I look down a lot sometimes. So, and I don't even realize I'm doing it unless I'm videoing. I do videos of myself. So I can catch myself doing things. Your mind will fool you all the time. Your mind will tell you, oh, Ralph, you're beautiful at this. You're not making, this is perfect. This is perfect. You didn't make any mistakes. Then I video myself and I say, oh, wait a minute. I'm looking down. Oh, wait a minute. I'm not raising my crown. Oh, wait a minute. I can see them. My shoulders are up here. I thought I was relaxed. And so if you just take one aspect of posture or breath or your mind, mental focus, and just practice that when you're doing it for one session, it'll really help you at the end of the day get everything right. Okay. All right. Well, this is a good time to end. And again, if you have any questions, I love questions because I learn so much from people asking. And I learn a lot from the way you describe things. You know, I'm describing things and sometimes I'm not sure I'm describing it right. And then somebody will say something and I'll think, oh yeah, that's the perfect way. That's the perfect answer. So yeah, help me out when you can. All right. So we're going to leave the session and have a good week. And we'll see you next week.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, Ralph.
Okay, bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.